purely because that's where I believe the deck started out.
Oh yeah. So we have Landen Kaetler on your left versus Benjamin Salonga on your right. Landen is actually playing Sylveon. Maybe he's playing that sweet Sylveon Cyrus Prism. But on the right, which unfortunately for Benjamin, he just has Hex Maniac Pass. He's playing, looks like Zoroark, but I was told it was Maxie's Archies, so we'll end up seeing how it goes.
Who doesn't enjoy a good Hexmaniac pass to open the game?
I love it.
It's my favorite opening. It's so powerful, so consistent.
It's definitely what you want to do against a deck that starts Eevee.
Oh yeah.
Energy Evolution is something that is very important to any and all Eevee decks. And I think he actually played a Gladion, is what we saw there. Take something out of his prizes, put the Gladion back, shuffle the prizes, the rare, have your opponent cut your prize cards.
All 6 of them reordered. It's interesting. I think if
oh no, this is a game here, folks. Colress for 2 on turn 2.
You've got to wonder how bad is Benjamin's hand at this juncture.
Well, hey, he got a Zoroark in play.
Well, he can do some trading now. That'd be great. But apart from that, you've just got to wonder. Colress for 2 is that's a bad Colress.
Oh yeah. Puzzle time. Look at the top 3, but he does have access to trade if he wants to. So if that third card was better, then this is really helping him out.
Yeah, I know usually we don't like the puzzle of time for 1, but in this instance, I think it could probably be justified. Just about. Especially if you know you're going to trade into the top 2.
Trading away a special charge as well, but just a pass. The perfect cards would have been double colorless Pokémon. Maybe like a Shaman EX.
Yeah, Shaman would have been lovely there. Any way to attack and take out one of these EVs would have been great. Or, at least go for it. But falling a little bit short. Even if Benjamin sat on a bad hand after that trade. I mean, he did trade and not use anything from it.
Yeah.
But it's going right back into the deck. So in the end, that play really coming to naught as Landen pretty desperate to try and get some Sylveon up right now.
Yeah, he actually did not have Fairy Energy to attach to an Eevee for Energy Evolution.
Gonna hope he finds it off this end because otherwise you do.
Oh, he just got a Sylveon. Two
Sylveons and a Max Potion.
But is there an energy? No.
He
won't be able to use Magical Ribbon to attack from Sylveon. That's so powerful, being able to search the deck for 3 of any card.
Well, he's got one in the top 3. He does put it on the top with the Puzzle of Time, so both players making sure they know what they're drawing into on this one. Do almost get a peep at Benjamin's hand, not so much.
Well, it definitely has to be better than what he had before, right?
Right, he does get the double colorless down, so Zoroark will be able to start attacking with the ever-popular Riotous Beating, and then hopefully start taking some knockouts. But the Sylveon getting into play is probably not quite as easy to take out.
Computer search discarding a red card, and it looks like a Rescue Stretcher. Getting 1 of any card in Benjamin's deck. He definitely needs to get some Pokemon out, though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't Riotous Beating without any Pokemon on the bench there. I do have to wonder if giving up the red card is the right play, especially with the Magical Ribbon.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a really nice card to basically deny them grabbing the cards from Magical Ribbon. Makes it a little bit pointless. Without a way to grab that back, he may be wanting it later in the game.
Yeah, there is Puzzle of Times, though, so he'll have access to that if he chooses to. Granted, he did play 1 last turn. But
it's also it's a good card. I don't know if I'd put it on my cards I Puzzle of Time for.
Yeah.
Definitely a ranking system there that does not often include red cards.
Usually it's double colorless.
Double colorless and something else, and a big supporter.
So I think he actually computer searched for that Zorua, and then played the Verse Seeker for Colress for 4.
Colress is getting slightly better over the course of this game, but still not ideal. He does get to Compressor now, so...
So I'm safe to say this is not Maxie's Archies.
So what you're telling me is you lied to me at the beginning of the day?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
As long as we're clear on that.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
At least we still get to see Sylveon.
Yeah, I mean, Sylveon's one of those decks that when it came out, a lot of people got really excited about it. But now it's kind of dwindled, even though you've got more ridiculous tools to disrupt your opponent with and expanded.
Yeah. Just the fact that you have, like, copies of Flare Grunt, Zero Sick, Team Skullgrunt, Team Rocket's handiwork, like all that stuff just goes into making your opponent not being able to play the game, and that's what Sylveon wants to do.
It's really fun. If your opponent can't play Pokemon, then they can't win. But it's interesting to see he actually manages to get a lot of wins out of it in Swiss yesterday, coming in at 7-2 and 0. So clearly adept at how to play it, not falling for those ties.
Yeah, for sure. Both these players at 21 match points, and coming into the day, the consensus I've heard is 30 would be a bubble number for match points going into top 8. And speaking of Sylveon, this hand from Landen has been amazing. Max Potion on the Sylveon GX, Enhanced Hammer, discarding the double colorless, and then a Magical Ribbon, getting 3 of any card. This is what he wanted to do a couple turns ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the play you always want to be making with these Sylveon decks. If you can discard with Enhanced Hammer, not use your supporter for the turn to do it, that's great. The big question here is, can Benjamin reliably kind of keep up with this?
Going through Benjamin's few turns that he's had, he's actually used a lot of resources that are very good in this matchup. He played that Puzzle Time just to look at the top 3, and then his one card in hand that he had to trade away was a Special Charge.
Right.
And that's something you really want.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of discarding of special energy is another one actually coming up into Landen's hand right there. Really, really interesting to see if Benjamin will be able to keep up with this.
There we see 3 Zorks on the field now for Benjamin. Trade is in full effect. Yep. And there we see a red card.
That's what he needed to do. The Magical Ribbon was going to be a problem.
Well, he already ends.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
just puts him down to 4 instead of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, keeping resources out of Landen's hand is going to be so important. But the problem is, every turn he can just grab more resources with Magical Ribbon.
Yeah, well, hey, that red card was very clutch for Benjamin there. It shuffled away a ton of energy disruption from Landen's hand.
Yeah, that's the big one. He's getting rid of the Enhanced Hammers.
So now we see a Nest Ball getting the Eevee out of the deck. And it looks like it just has a few energy, but he does have Magical Ribbon, so they kind of play this cat and mouse game, where it's like, all right, I'm going to get these 3 cards and force you to deal with it. If you don't, my next turn is going to be insane.
Yeah, I really think that on this one, what we're going to have to see is...
I think he played a Karen, shuffling in 3 executes. Oh, man.
So the big thing now for Landen, though, is to get that energy denial back into play. Making sure that he doesn't have to deal with any more of these double colorless energies, because Sylveon's going to get knocked out in the long run. Just needs to be a little bit kind of cautious about that.
Yeah, Sylveon GX does have resistance to fighting, so it's a little bit harder for Zoroark to actually take the knockout. I believe it doesn't actually take the one-hit knockout on a fully healed Sylveon.
No, it falls. Falls a little bit short.
Falls 10 short, I believe, but
it's a very little bit.
Most decks don't really play like Professor Kukui anymore, or things that to help your damage get over that hump. And so Benjamin's going to be playing that 2-shot game a lot.
Right, and in amidst those 2 shots after the first one, he's probably going to have some energy knocked off. He's going to be
energy knocked off. Max Potions can disrupt his play. Acerola, AZs, a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to knock out these Sylveons, and not only if you struggle with energy, you struggle with getting the damage down. I think this matchup could be a little bit grindy towards the end, where Benjamin really fishes for resources, and a big thing here is one of his key resource tools, I guess, that he likes to use is the Execute engine for trade, and, well, he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to be able to get one in.
Yeah, he actually Ultra Balled for the Execute, and then plays a Shaman for 5.
Shuffling up, being able to get there.
Karen really kind of disrupting Benjamin's plans.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as he can draw through them again, he'll be fine. He did get the Skyfield into play, so he is looking for the huge knockouts. Now is the time to do it. But
also, as of right now, Zoroark does 130, which is enough to take a knockout. And that's after resistance from the Sylveon. So he's sitting pretty right now, and that's why he chooses to play the end to shuffle away that Magical Ribbon that Landen just did last turn.
Yep, it's got to be done. He's really got to keep up with getting rid of Magical Ribbon hands. That's the biggest thing right here. I mean, Landen could lose his Sylveon in the active, and then he's just got to make sure he gets as much distance out of the two in the back as possible.
Yeah, and I think, speaking of magical ribbon hands, that's not one of them landing hands right now. It's a bunch of energy and just kind of not cards he wants to see right now. There might be a Verse Seeker in there, but it's really all he has going for him.
Well, not only that,
and another energy.
Ooh, it's 4 energy.
I think it's like energy, switch, a puzzle time, and then maybe the Versus Seeker. But I'm not sure which supporters are actually in his discard.
Yeah, this could
Counter Catcher.
Ooh,
that's not a switch.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. I mean, maybe just trying to buy some time with that Execute caught in the active. It's obviously unable to propagate itself out of the way. So if he can buy himself a little bit of time, maybe get the cards to knock off this energy, the special energy, of course, on the Zoroark, and keep that down. That'll be good. He does have to watch out, though, of course. Benjamin will be given time to just draw through his deck. He already has quite a large hand. If he can find that double puzzle of time, he can pull them back, or he can pull back the special charge and get 2. Really plenty of options on how he goes about procuring these.
Yeah, there's a very popular deck in a different game where it doesn't win. Its goal is not to win the game. Its goal is to make sure your opponent has no ways to win the game,
right,
and then you win.
Yeah, I mean, that's all.
Sylveon, I feel, is kind of the same way. You keep playing this game of, all right, you have 2 DCEs left and 2 puzzle a time. Well, that means you have essentially like 5 DCE left, maybe 6. And I just have to get through those. Once I get through those, I win.
Yep.
And here's another one, forcing the double colorless on the Execute to retreat. That's not what Benjamin wants to see here.
I've heard that people who play Sylveon are actually allergic to fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just because
you'd be perfect for it then.
Yeah, exactly. I'll build one pretty soon.
So here we see the double puzzle of time, getting the puzzle that was stranded in the discard, just kind of giving you another out to your discard for the second puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, now he's just grabbing so many energies back. Being able to bring back the special charge that he traded away earlier, or used for the Ultra Ball, and put them back in there. So when your deck's already down to, what, 10 cards? You're probably going to find them pretty quickly.
And here we see another Versus Seeker for N again.
Landen's really not been able to use any of his Magical Ribbon hands. It's just not been allowed.
Yeah, well, when you're facing against a deck that plays N, 4 Versus Seekers, and double red card, it starts to get a little tough if they have the right draws.
Right. Do you see...
Man, he's not drawing the cards. He did get the Max Potion.
Yeah,
that's
still...
good.
It does have the energy to replace it with as well, but... There's only so many times he can do that. It's
All right, 150. Thanks to the extra bench space provided by Execute. Max Potion coming down. And that's what this Sylveon deck does. Is like, okay, if you don't 2-hit me, I can just keep this thing going.
Yeah, he does have to go in and Dowsing Machine. Grabbing a card out of the discard. I think that's a solid play.
And here we see a Lysander on the Execute again. Just basically seeing, okay, you didn't have the Floatstone last turn, and you went through a good amount of your deck.
I mean, he's in it just to get rid of these double colorless again. That's all he needs to do. I mean, if you look at the deck sizes, I think Landen's maybe a fraction bigger. It's not the size of your deck that matters, but the way you play with the cards left in it.
That is a saying.
It's definitely a saying.
And here we see a bunch of trades, thanks to that Execute in the discard with its Propagate ability, being able to bring it to your hand anytime you want.
Yeah, and once it goes back in the discard, it's completely refreshed. Right back. You really only need one in there to keep reusing it.
So I think 2's the sweet spot in Expanded, because that means all your Ultra Balls are free, all your computer switches are free, and Zoroark is the deck that kind of maximizes the full 4 because it allows you to just get a bunch of damage out of nowhere.
Yeah, it allows for that big play where you just Skyfield, propagate, and dump them down. That's an extra 60 and the knockout.
And the opposite of Skyfield, Parallel City comes down for Landen here, getting rid of the useless junk on Benjamin's side of the field, leaving just 3 Zoroark GXs.
Does force him to try and find another Skyfield, though.
Oh yeah, this Parallel City means Benjamin's going to have to take a lot of time to knock out Sylveon. And looking at him fanning out his deck, it only looks like maybe 7-8 cards left in him.
Yeah, we do see, looks like the double puzzle in Landen's hand. I saw one, I can't vouch for the second, but that'd be big if he can hold on to that as well. I mean, Benjamin's going for it right now with the trades. Must have a shuffle draw supporter available to him. I mean, probably knows there's another VS Seeker in there, and then he's able to play the N. His hand is actually huge.
Yeah, this could be risky though, because if he's planning on playing the N next turn after he draws his last card, Landen could just play a card like Team Rocket's Handiwork, discard the rest of Benjamin's deck, and then he's just lost.
Well, Benjamin does find a big play here, the double puzzle play.
Getting the floatstone that was in the discard as well.
And the N. You have to wonder, you know, obviously he wants to get attacking again, but he didn't grab
Skyfield?
Skyfield, special energy with the double colorless. Like, must feel confident he can get it back, or he's got one in hand. There's the Skyfield. He had one.
But again, not getting back double colorless means
he's gonna run out.
I think he only has like 2, maybe a third left. And that's just a few cards from Magical Ribbon to take care of Benjamin's entire energy base.
Right, I mean, he's gone through all his puzzler times now.
Yeah.
So, and he's special charged already to put them back in, so he's, this is kind of his last stand. I mean, he's not in a bad position. He does still need to knock out 2 Sylveons. He does have a Skyfield back. We do see...
And the hand from Landen is looking pretty fine right now.
2 Team Rocket handiwork.
No, Team Flaregrant. Yeah. But Team Flaregrant here could honestly just seal the fate.
Oh, there's one.
And I think... Because you're even fine with giving up the Sylveon as well, just because you have another one on the bench. You have that Parallel City as well.
Just in case there was going to be a big play from Benjamin here. He's pretty much denied that one.
And here we see a Magical Ribbon again doing what Sylveon does. When you're a deck that just has access to your entire deck, like Pokemon in general is a game where you basically have access to your entire deck, discarding your hand, drawing 7 with Sycamore, drawing 6 cards for free with Trade. You really go through a lot, and it's kind of hard to miss the cards that you want to draw. But in a deck that literally searches your deck for 3 cards every turn.
Right. I don't think there's consistency that can beat that.
Yeah.
We do see Landen actually having a look in Benjamin's discard, so probably just trying to figure out his counts. Like, he's got rid of 2 Skyfields. How many energies are in there? How many Puzzle of Time are in there?
Another good thing to, when you're checking your opponent's discard in a game 1 situation, you always want to, like, see how they built their list.
Right.
You're like, okay, well, how many Field Blowers do you play? How many Floatstone do you play? How many Guzma do you play? How many N do you play? And it's just this solid information that you have going forward for games 2 and possible game 3 that allows you to, like, correct your game plan.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something as particularly in Expanded, where we have the VS Seeker and the one-off supporters, if there's something you're worried about, you can just check to make sure it's there. We do see the next knockout come through on Landen Sylveon. Does put Benjamin down at 2 prizes, but I don't think he really cares.
I think those are the last 2 prizes Benjamin's going to take for this game.
Yeah, he does have the option. He will be...
Enhanced Hammer, a Lysander on the Oricorio. I believe Benjamin's only Floatstone is on that Execute. And I don't know if he has a double colorless left.
He's going to be stalled out. I mean, Landen's pretty much committed to this one set, or this one Sylveon. That's going to be there for the rest of the game. It's really his only out. Benjamin needs to find a way to knock it out.
There is a second Floatstone. He got it from the prizes. Skyfield coming down. But remember, we were talking about he does...
baby. Oh, baby.
There's... Mew can take the one-hit knockout. Guys, okay, so we were talking about how Sylveon can tank a Zoroark GX because the resistance makes it only 190 damage, but Mew
Does
is
not-
not dark, so it takes the knockout, 210 damage, knocking out the Sylveon GX 4-game. Wow.
Oh baby, that was nice.
He was saving that play for the very end of the game, too.
Well, now Landen's game plan is really, really in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
For game 2, oh boy, you just can't wait until Mew comes out.
So,
You have to wonder, was it in those 2 prizes that he pulled out?
honestly, it might have been.
Because there's no way he holds it that long.
Were his 2 prizes Floatstone Mew?
It could have been.
Man.
I mean, just not to see Mew when he was falling short on the damage. There was so many turns where he
Yeah.
had... I mean, we saw the turn where he had every card bar 1 in his hand. There's no way you don't play that if it's an option. Just start taking 1 hits.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm still shocked by how it looked like Landen was just completely in control of that game. 1 double colorless left for Benjamin there, and he had it at the perfect time with the perfect cards.
Yeah, I mean, Landen did a really good job of drawing up what he needed at the correct times, I guess, but... Landen just throwing that basic down face up, it's alright, no reveal.
Well, his hand's very good.
Yeah.
It's double level ball, and then an energy for energy evolution.
2 more EVs.
Another nest ball as well. Okay.
Just going for it with the EVs. No other way around this situation, really.
No need for Bridget. We have the ball engine. Energy evolution for Sylveon GX coming down turn 1. One of the few ways you can actually evolve turn 1.
Right, I mean, he can't capitalize off it. He can't attack yet, but...
Yeah, but soon enough.
It's coming. It's coming.
He could attach a double colorless and plea GX this Bridget.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Flea GX. Could be interesting. It's not as good against like a stage 1 deck as it is a stage 2 deck.
Yeah.
The joy of messing people's bench up is alive and well in the TCG
See,
right now.
I just want him to like, drop a Vaporeon, play Cyrus Prism, and then plea GX. Get rid of Benjamin's whole bench.
And then watch him throw out a really weak Riotous Beat in the next turn.
Alright, Bridget gets the 3 Zorua on the bench. And then just a pass from Benjamin here. Parallel City, but that's not going to discard any resources from Benjamin.
It's going to keep him limited, but I think right now it's really not a problem to see. Basically, Benjamin has all the resources he wants on the bench in his Zoroark draw engine.
Yeah.
He didn't need to waste bench space on a Lele. He's just able to get going from that. You have to wonder. I mean, it literally takes 1 Zoroark for these players to explode.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so, talking about Sylveon, it's one of the harder decks to actually play, just because every turn you have this choice of, I need these 3 cards, but when do I need them? Like, okay, I'll get this card I can use for next turn, but I can get this Max Potion, but if he doesn't attack me, then I'd rather have this Parallel City, or I'd rather have this Energy, and...
At the same time, what's the point when you just get end every turn?
Yeah.
He may as well just grab 3 energy. Just bait it out of Benjamin. Just bait the ends early game.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Benjamin actually has the N or red card here to disrupt the Magical Ribbon. There's the Tapu Lele. Could we see the N off the Wonder Tag?
Just having a little look through. I mean, there's no real reason not to. There it is.
Like, get it in your hand, play it. That way you have it in the discard, so you can burst Seeker or puzzle for it later on in the game.
Yeah, he's just able to keep going.
Unfortunately, he did not have any Zoroark GX to play down before that N.
Well, the other good thing about this potential N that he has going on, I apologize for that, is going to be the ability to not only find a Zoroark, but also find a Execute.
Yeah.
So all he needs is 1 Zoroark, 1 Execute, and then he's off to the races. Really just propagate or trade it away, propagate if he can get another. Should be good. Potential for the Zoroark GX there. There it is.
1, 2.
2. As many as 2.
Battle Professor 4 eggs.
Yeah, here we go. This deck is, I mean, it is very obvious why it's so consistent, purely because there are so many ways to get the eggs in the discard, and there's so many things you can do once they're in there.
Yeah. So Speaking of Zorark, do you think it's too overpowered? Do you think it's affecting the format in a bad way or a good way?
I think in Expanded it's a little... The fact of the matter is it has... The eggs engine is a little much.
Yeah.
But I think it has a very clear weakness, which is the fact that fighting decks are acceptably, all around decent now. I think keeps it in check just enough. I think if for some reason fighting decks lost something or Zoroark gained an additional tool, it would probably be a little bit much, in Expanded at least. But I think right now it's, we do see, obviously our top cut is big on Zoroark.
Yeah.
But there's going to be people with the Glaceons, with the
Aerodactyls of the world.
There are ways around it, and I think as long as that keeps getting played and people look at these fighting deck options, then they'll be fine.
Yeah, and as we've been talking, Benjamin's been putting on a clinic here. 3 Zoroarks, red card. He's drawn 6 free cards.
Yeah,
this turn.
He's filled the bench with the Zoroarks and finished it up, of course, with the Mew.
Mew with the double colorless as well.
Yeah, he just needs to be able to get to a Skyfield at some point, and then...
Skyfield, a way to retreat. It could be a little damaging, yet he does not have a way to retreat for the Mew, meaning no pressure. And looking at Landen's hand, he has that Parallel City, which could force a big choice from Benjamin here.
I mean, I guess from Benjamin's side, you just get rid of the Tapu Lele.
Tapu Lele and a Zoroark?
Yeah. I mean... I don't know. I mean, I think after seeing how well it had done, keeping the Mew is probably wise. It would have been nice. I think it would have been easier if he could have got that Oricorio out. Would have just got rid of the 2 Psychic types, and that would have been done and dusted. But, you've still got 2 Zoroark, you've still got your Mew. Time for that plea. Let's go.
Alright, but it is back on Benjamin's turn right now. He's really needing to find a Skyfield and get some cards with these trades. Remember, he still needs the full gauntlet that Zoroark decks usually go to hit that 210 damage output, and that's the full bench of 8 and the choice band with the double colorless. So
I like this selection actually a lot from Benjamin to grab the computer search so he can get whatever he wants, and of course the red card to disrupt. He's got the eggs in there too.
Hey, I guess puzzle time for red card's pretty good.
Right now I'm looking at it and it's just he's not in the strongest position.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any energy in there, so there's no point playing to get them. And you may as well save your supporter for the turn to use something else and get the same effect of disrupting that magical ribbon with the red card.
All right. He
also
has
football's on back home, so red card's relevant.
Rescue Stretcher coming down, shuffling in a Tapu Lele and the Zora and Zoroark that got discarded with Parallel City. Red card on the Landen, and then here we'll start the benching of all the Pokemon. Tapu Lele coming down, Winter Tech for Colress. Remember, he still needs quite a few cards.
And a little Seismitoad there as well.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it. It actually kind of snuck onto the top of the bench in game 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not exceptionally relevant.
Kind of irrelevant, just because it loses so hard to Team Flare Grunt.
Right.
And maybe Zero Sick if Landon plays it. And just the fact that you only do 30, you'd much rather have this. Okay, calm down, Benjamin.
Yep, here we go.
Just draw everything you need off this course. Floatstone coming down on the active. Choice Band on the Mew. Has the Ultra Ball double egg for the Zorua. And then you just play down an egg and you're like, okay, I'll take the knockout on Sylveon. What are you going to do?
Yeah, this gets rough.
Especially after red carding Landon.
He's counting. I think he realizes.
You need that egg, boy.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh no, he's trading it. Seeing if he can grab a basic another way. He's already pulled up the...
Alright.
There it is.
And this has been a perfect turn from Benjamin here.
You have to wonder, is there really any way out for Landen? Team Flag Grunt will buy him some time.
So he's just going to try to stall a little bit. Remember, Benjamin only has access to 2 Floatstone. And
they're both They're both. Oh, one's in play.
Yeah, one's in play, and you really just do the best you can. There's no like assault vest or bodybuilding dumbbells in Landen's deck to like boost his HP.
Nope.
So
he can't take these hits. I mean, I don't think he can't take knockouts.
he can, but it also means that he commits a double colorless to a Sylveon, and then also doesn't Magical Ribbon for the turn. So he won't have access to his deck, essentially. But it's going to be interesting to see if Benjamin has the knockout again, along with a shuffle effect for Landon's hand.
Right. He will Battle Compressor to start this turn out, so making sure everything he needs is in the discard. I mean, Benjamin's got the big hand. We're going to see Execute, X-Maniac, and something.
Yeah, we actually see the Guzma as well hit the bin with that Battle Compressor. An option could be just versus Seeker for a Guzma,
Yeah,
and
grab
then
the
double
other
colorless
Sylveon.
and knock out the other Sylveon.
Right. See,
Ultra Ball again for a third Zoroark GX.
oof. Yeah, this basically means Benjamin's gonna be able to grab a hold of his whole deck if he needs it to win a game.
Yeah, but the thing he has to be worried about is his deck is getting pretty low. The random Team Rocket's handiwork that could come down.
I don't think it would be too random at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely something he's got to be careful of. And if he does use his turn to
Double colorless red card, and then he has access to the Guzma as well. This is the best possible combination he can have because he does shuffle away the Magical Ribbon and has the Guzma to switch out.
yeah, I mean it's gone. He just needs to make sure that Landen can't get rid of the rest of his deck. It's actually not a bad 4 off the red card, but I don't think Landen's going to be given much opportunity to deal with that. Oh, there's an N.
I think that was Lucamine.
Ah,
Yeah. I don't know if this deck actually plays N.
yeah, that's true. Because you do want to just keep it with Magical Ribbon.
But yeah,
It looked like the
Benjamin
old
down.
Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
The nice one.
The best one.
Yeah.
Benjamin's down to 2 prizes now pretty quickly compared to last game as well. Still has plenty of his resources. Still has 2 puzzle times left. Still has his special charge. And I think there's only 1 double colorless in the discard.
There's one. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's literally only one. If he doesn't have it in hand now, he's just going to be able to draw into it. So.
And this is where you play this game of what do we actually do? Thankfully for Landon, he does have the enhanced stamina, and I think a Lysander as well. Which it could be awkward if you had like a Team Flare Grunt and a Lysander and you had to choose between the two.
Right. I mean, the big thing that basically wins or loses this game for Benjamin is... Oh. We're having a discussion.
Oh, I think he ripped the sleeve. That's what happens when you shuffle your deck every single turn.
Right.
Drew knows about that because,
Plays Aerodactyl.
Aerodactyl,
Well,
Old Amber,
you say that he
bunch.
shuffles his deck every turn. He shuffles his deck about 5 times
Yeah.
per turn.
I think the over-under is probably 7, honestly. But yeah, here we see the Magical Ribbon.
I think the rule, going back to Drew's deck, I think if he shuffles more times than cards you get off your Colress, you have to concede to him. I think that's the new rule. We'll get him on later and see if we can enforce it.
Yeah, I'll tell him about it. But, okay, just a Magical Ribbon, but Benjamin essentially has access to his entire deck with 3 trades right now.
Yeah, he just needs a double colorless and a
waiter.
VS Seeker
Yeah, well,
to Guzma.
No, the
Oh,
VS
not
Seeker
Guzma.
doesn't really work because you take the 1 prize off
Yeah.
EV. But
Sorry, quick question on the follow-up on the sleeve, and we'll see.
all right, back to the action. So Benjamin does need to find Floatstone over Guzma, just because the Guzma will only bring up the EV.
Unless Floatstone's in the prizes.
Yeah.
But he knows at this point he's been in the deck enough.
Well, hey, if he has access to his entire deck, he could Field Blower the Floatstone off his Oricorio, and then puzzle time it back to his hand.
Has he got enough
Oh,
floatstone?
there's just the floatstone right there.
Okay, it's not in the prizes. My mistake.
Double colorless, and that is
There it
game.
is. We were like, wow, how's he going to find this floatstone? He's going to play it from his hand.
Benjamin Salonga taking a pretty quick 2-0 against a deck that's supposed to play these long, drawn-out games, and on the back of MuEX.
Yeah, I mean, to game one, I think he pretty much had it anyway. He was able to just about get there with two
No,
hits.
I think he didn't have it if he didn't have the Mew.